Hey guys, Marissa at kitchentablestamper.com, and today we're going to make this adorable Thanks for Everything Springtime Stroll note card. So this card features the Springtime Stroll stamp set from Stampin' Up. We're doing a host set tour in this series of 4 videos. This is number 4 of 4, featuring the Stampin' Up host sets that are available from the 2018-2019 catalog. And this is a red rubber cling mount stamp set. It's got some really great images, and you know, kitchen table stamper and anything strawberries, I have to have it. So this is probably my favorite. I saved the best for last, in my opinion. The products that you need to make this card are the Springtime Stroll stamp set. This stamp set cannot be ordered from Stampin' Up, but it can be redeemed for host rewards. So any order over $150, whether you place it as a customer, a demonstrator, or as a workshop, earns host rewards. Host rewards can be exchanged for host sets. So your Stampin' rewards or host rewards are earned on orders, any order over $150, and redeemed for these fabulous exclusive sets that I've been featuring over the last 4 videos. All right, other things that we'll need for this card include Painted Harvest stamp set. We're going to use the leaf image. I think it coordinates very nicely with this little flower image in the background. I've got the coordinating leaf punch, coordinates the Painted Harvest. I'm also going to use my Tailor Tag punch. I use this one a lot for doing this little dovetail end. I have Stampin' pads in the brand new Granny Apple Green and Calypso Coral. Got a couple of embellishments for this card. There's these beautiful pearlized doilies. I love these. They're pearl on one side. I don't know if the camera picks up the pearl, but they are, oh, I think it might. I think it might be picking up. See, they're pearlized on one side and white on the other. The white side takes ink, so these are really versatile. And I've got some adhesive pearls. Now I'm using the older style Stampin' Up ones, but these are the self-adhesive pearls. And then I've got my consumables here. My card base is Calypso Coral, and it is 8.5 by 5.5, and we're scored at 4 1/4. We're going to go ahead and add a burnish with our bone folder. I've got an inset piece of Calypso Coral here. That piece is 4.5 by 3 1/4. I've got scraps here of Calypso Coral and of Lemon Lime Twist. This is about 1 3/4 by 4. That's for stamping and punching our leaves. This one's about 1 3/4 by 2 1/4. That's for stamping and cutting our flowers. My Whisper White piece for the greeting is 1 by 3. And I've got 2 pieces of Designer Series paper from the Tea Room Designer Series paper. And there's front and back. The Calypso Coral stripe is 4 1/4 by 3/4, and this Coastal Cabana floral piece is 4 1/4 by 1 1/4. The measurements for this are available at kitchentablestamper.com. Underneath the video there's a clickable link always for the project sheet, so don't worry about the measurements. All right, let's get stamping here. I'm gonna get my all right, let's get stamping here. I'm gonna get some scratch paper because we're gonna stamp off the edges of that inset Calypso Coral. And I'm gonna get my ink pads and we'll get going. Okay, I think we're good here. Let's start with that inset Calypso Coral and that strawberry plant image. And what I like to do is start in the bottom left-hand corner with like the rim of the pot in the bottom left-hand corner. And then we'll stamp right up above, repeat. And then what I do next is I'll take the full pot image and I want to kind of nestle it in, make a second row. Then we'll just continue down And then last time here, we're going to offset that. And we just want to really kind of fill the whole paper with pattern without overlapping. All right, I'm pretty happy with that. Now we can stamp our leaves. I've got some Granny Apple Green ink on the Lemon Lime Twist cardstock, which is going to give us a nice kind of tone-on-tone look. And get those done. We'll punch those out in just a second. Now our greeting says thanks for everything. I'm going to ink that up in Granny Apple Green and just center it on the scrap. And then my bitty little flower. We need 3 of these. And just the flower, so I'm stamping right off the edge. There. Now, where our stamping's done, I'm going to clear away the ink pads and we'll get this card finished. We're on to assembly now. Okay, we've got a bit of punching to do. So I've got my leaf punch here. And we're going to give this guy a punch. And again. And now our thanks for everything greeting. We're going to put that into the punch here, then back it out and center it. Punch. Same thing with the other side. Put it all the way in so you can see the greeting and then back it out. And then once you got it centered, give a punch. Look at that cute greeting. I'm gonna get my snail adhesive. We're gonna start putting some of these layers together. I'm gonna start with this little inset Calypso coral piece. We're gonna set that right in centered on our card front. Top to bottom, right to left. It's gonna have an even border all the way around. And then what we're gonna do is run some snail adhesive on the back of our Designer Series paper pieces. But we're going to, before we adhere them down, we're gonna take our doily, cut it in half, and then we're going to adhere it underneath the Designer Series paper. Now, what I want to do is just make sure that it's touching the, just not quite touching the bottom of the stamped inset panel. And then we will just seal that doily right in there. And we'll cover with the next Designer Series paper, leaving a slight overlap. Now, fussy cutting. I'm gonna grab my snips and cut each of these little flowers out. They go pretty quick, but I'll cut them out and then cut back in. Okay, I'm back here and all my little flowers are fussy cut and I've got some dimensionals. I'm going to add a couple of little half dimensionals to the back of my sentiment here. I want it well supported. It's the only thing that's bumped up on this card, so we'll be generous with the adhesive. We might need a mini dimensional under one of the flowers there that's kind of off the end, so I've got some mini dimensionals here just in case. But what we'll do now is get multi-purpose liquid glue, and we're going to audition where we want these leaves. I think one up, one down here is a good place to get started. And then our sentiment over. This one's got to come down just a little bit. And I'm going to touch and see. Ah, look at that. So they both are adhered to the dimensional just a little bit there. Now what we'll do is we'll make this kind of one big piece by adding some multi-purpose liquid glue. And then flip the whole thing over, pop it back into position, and just make sure that before we burnish everything down, we like the way things are situated. Very happy, nice and smooth. All right, then another little bit of multi-purpose liquid glue on the back of the flowers. We're gonna pop one kind of underneath our sentiment here. And then one a little bit off the edge over here. If it needs a little half a mini dimensional underneath, we can support it with a little half a mini dimensional. And then the third one, make a triangle placement and pop that one down in the bottom of our sentiment here. Ha! So perfect. I love this card. It's my favorite one I've made in a while. Very my taste. Now let's get some of these little pearls, self-adhesive pearls, and get them on the centers of the flowers. And voila, we're done. Thanks for everything. If you've got any questions about this project, about how you can get the Springtime Stroll host set or any of the other Stampin' Up! Host sets that we've featured in this video series, email me, Marisa at kitchentablestamper.com. Thanks for watching.